Once upon a time, in a quiet land hidden beyond rolling hills and winding rivers, there stood a small village nestled at the foot of a great mountain. The villagers lived simple lives, guided by the rhythm of the seasons and the wisdom passed down through generations. Among them lived a young man named Akio, a humble farmer known for his gentle heart and unwavering devotion to his mother. Akio lived in a modest wooden house on the edge of the village with his aging mother, Hana. The house was old, its roof patched many times, its walls worn smooth by wind and rain, yet inside it was filled with warmth. Every morning, Akio rose before the sun to tend their small field, while Hana prepared simple meals and whispered quiet prayers for her son's safety and happiness. Life was not easy, but it was honest, and they found comfort in each other's presence. Hana had grown frail with age. Her steps were slow, her hands thin and weathered, but her eyes still carried a gentle light shaped by years of hardship, love, and quiet understanding. She had raised Akio alone after her husband passed away when Akio was still a child, and through hunger, storms, and uncertainty, she had never complained. Instead, she taught her son patience, kindness, and respect for life. For Akio, his mother was more than family. She was his teacher, his guide, and the silent strength behind every choice he made. One autumn morning, as mist curled through the village streets, an unsettling announcement spread from house to house. Messengers from the capital arrived, bearing a decree from the ruler of the land, Lord Renzo, a man feared for his cold heart and rigid beliefs. According to the decree, all elderly citizens were to be removed from society. The ruler claimed they were no longer useful, that they consumed resources without contributing, and that the kingdom would be stronger without them. The words struck the village like a sudden frost. Families gathered in hushed groups, fear and disbelief etched on their faces. Some wept openly, others stood in stunned silence, but no one dared to question the order, for Lord Renzo's punishments were swift and merciless. When Akio heard the news, his legs trembled beneath him, and his first thought was of his mother. That night, their small house felt colder than ever. Hana noticed the tension in her son's movements, the way his hands shook as he set down their meal, and gently asked what troubled him. Akio hesitated, then told her everything, his voice breaking as tears streamed down his face. Hana listened quietly, then reached out and held his hands in hers. Her grip was weak, but steady. "My son," she said softly, "life has never promised us fairness, but it has always given us choices." Akio spent the night awake, staring at the ceiling, torn between fear and love. By dawn, his decision was clear. No decree, no ruler, no law could force him to abandon the woman who had given him everything. Before the soldiers could reach their home, Akio prepared a small bundle of food and clothing, gently lifted his mother onto his back, and began the long journey up the mountain behind their village. The path was steep and narrow, rarely used, and known for its harsh winds and unpredictable weather. As they climbed, unknown to Akio, Hana quietly broke small branches from nearby trees and dropped them along the path. Her breath grew shallow, her fingers scraped and bruised, yet she continued, fearing that if something happened, her son might not find his way back. Hours passed before they reached a small abandoned hut hidden among the trees. The structure was barely standing, but it offered shelter. Akio laid down leaves to form a bed, wrapped his mother in a blanket, and as dusk fell and the cold crept in, he knelt beside her and promised to return every day with food and supplies. Hana smiled weakly and whispered, "Follow the branches when you return. I left them for you." Only then did Akio notice her injured hands, and the realization shattered him. Even in her weakness, she had thought only of his safety. From that day on, Akio lived two lives. By morning, he worked in the fields as though nothing had changed. By night, he climbed the mountain, carrying food, water, and warmth to his mother. The journey exhausted him, but he never complained, for love gave him strength where his body faltered. Meanwhile, unrest grew in the kingdom. Lord Renzo, eager to test his people's obedience, announced a new challenge, commanding the villagers to create a rope made entirely of ashes and present it at court. Failure would bring severe punishment. The task seemed impossible, and despair spread quickly. When Akio shared the news with his mother during one of his visits, Hana closed her eyes in thought. After a long silence, she spoke. "Make a rope from straw first," she said. "Lay it on a flat stone and burn it slowly on a night with no wind. The straw will disappear, but the shape will remain." Akio followed her instructions carefully, and the result was a perfect rope of ashes. When the rope was presented at court, Lord Renzo was astonished and summoned Akio to explain. Trembling, Akio confessed the truth, revealing that his elderly mother, whom he had hidden in defiance of the decree, had given him the wisdom. The court fell silent, and for a long moment the ruler stared at the ash rope in his hands, memories stirring of his own parents and lessons long ignored. "You feared me," Lord Renzo finally said, "yet you loved your mother more." In that moment, the decree was abolished. The elderly were welcomed back and honored for their wisdom and experience, and new policies were created to protect and support them. Akio returned home with his mother, welcomed by the village with tears and joy. Life did not suddenly become easy, but it became meaningful in a deeper way. The story spread far beyond the village, reminding people that progress does not come from discarding the past, but from learning from it. And so the lesson lived on. Life becomes truly beautiful when we value the people around us, especially those who walked before us and made our path possible. If this story touched your heart, or made you reflect on the people who matter most in your life, please remember to like, share, and subscribe so you can enjoy more meaningful stories like this. Thank you so much for listening, and may your days be filled with kindness, wisdom, and gratitude. And may you always find beauty in caring for those around you.